Hello everybody and welcome to this section where we perform the man-in-the-middle attack. So what we did until now is we saw how we can perform different scans, we also saw how we can gain access to a wireless network, and right now, after we get the access to a wireless network, we want to perform one of the most known attacks on the local area network, which is called man-in-the-middle attack. Now, there is a specific tool that we are going to use, which is called Man-in-the-Middle Framework. I will show you in great detail how you can download it, and then we will cover some different options that that tool has and that the tool comes with in order to perform different types of the attacks. Now, all of those attacks that we are going to show are simply just based on one simple thing, which is called ARP spoofing. Now, for those of you that are not really familiar with networking and with different types of protocols and packets, let me just show you right here. I will just open up my Paint and I will simply just draw two PCs and an actual router, and I will show you what ARP spoofing technically looks like. So imagine like this, we have one computer right here, or it doesn't have to be a computer, it can be a mobile phone, a smartphone, any type of device that is simply connected to the local area network and that is transmitting packets to the router over the internet. Okay, so let's call this PC A. We then have PC B. Let's put it right here. And right here we have our router, which is sending the packets. Let us just label it as R, standing for router, which is sending the packets over the internet right here, and from the internet to the actual PCA and PCB, depending on which packet comes through. Okay, so the ARP spoofing, basically, first of all, what ARP packets are is simply it is a way to define who is who on the actual network. So ARP spoofing packets, there are two types of them. There is an ARP request and ARP reply. It is based on the MAC addresses, and it is simply a request would sound something like, who is that IP address, ask this one or tell this one. So for example, computer A wants to communicate with computer B, but it does not know its IP address, MAC address, therefore it sends an ARP request to find out what is the MAC address of that specific computer. And once it finds that out, it received an ARP response, for example, from, let's say, router, which says PCB is at this IP address or this MAC address, and then these two can actually communicate. Now, what happens is that the ARP protocol and ARP requests and responses are very easy to manipulate, and they can be changed. For example, the ARP spoofing or man-in-the-middle attack is based on simply just changing the packets in order to tell different routers and different PCs that you are one another. And what I mean by that is, for example, let's say the PCB is asking what is the MAC address of a router. It wants to communicate with the router, and it is asking or sending an ARP request. We can send an ARP reply to the PCB saying that we are the router. And we can send the ARP reply to the router saying that we are the PCB. And therefore, the actual connection, which was once going something like this, so PCB sends the packet to the router, and router then sends the packet to the internet, and then it is going over this wire. We can simply just change it to be something like this. Everything will go through our own PC. And therefore, all the packets that are going from the internet to the PCB are going to go through our own PC, and therefore we can actually inspect them unless they are encrypted, which we are going to mention just in 1 second. And also the packets that the PCB is sending to the router will also go through our own PC. Because we successfully told the PCB and the router that we are one another. To the router we said, I am PCB, and to the computer B we told, I am the router. And therefore all the packets are going through our PC, and then we are forwarding them in order to maintain the connection. This actually spawns a lot of the available attacks, such as, for example, inputting backdoor in a link, so you're changing the download files, screenshotting targets browsers, for example, stealing different passwords. Now those passwords can only be stolen if they are inputted in an HTTP website. If they're inputted in an HTTPS website over TLS, then the passwords will be encrypted, and there is really no way for us to actually find out what the user has inputted. But there is something else that we can do. We can simply just host a captive portal on our PCA, which is our hacking machine, and there we can actually host a fake page, which I will show you later on in a future video, how we can host a fake page on our Apache 2 web server and redirect all the traffic from PCB that's going over the HTTP protocol to visit our captive portal page. And maybe someone will bite, and then they will input the password to that specific page, and therefore we will be able to steal their password. So that is the basic understanding of the ARP spoofing. Now, of course, if you want to really learn more about it, you will need to Google it up and learn more about ARP packets, what are they consisted of. We already mentioned that there are requests and replies, so that is something that you already know right now, and you know the basic idea how this attack works. And the next thing that we're actually going to need is we're going to need to install the tool that I already have right here, which is called the Man-in-the-Middle framework. We will show how to install it in the next video. So for now on, this would be about it. We just mentioned the simple theory behind the attack, and we're going to see how we can install the Man-in-the-Middle framework in the next video. Hope I see you there, and take care. Bye.